Major shakeup at Walt Disney Imagineering. Bruce Vaughn returns to the company. We're also talking about Pandora coming to Disneyland. A lot of fans thought we were crazy to suggest such a thing, but here we are. Coming up next on OG 55. Welcome aboard to another episode of OG 55. We're talking Imagineering shakeup. We're talking about Pandora coming to Disneyland. We're talking all kinds of stuff today. But before we do that, I want to introduce my brother, my collaborator, my producer, Mr. Vash, Sky, Dr. Dre in the house. Welcome back, brother.
Hey, doing very well. Glad to be here. This is an impromptu video for us. Literally, some of this news just broke, and it was like, okay, you're on your lunch. Let's do it. So we're doing it. We're doing it today. So sorry if I'm a little rough around the edges. We gotta bring you the latest breaking news right here. I think we should start. OG, dispense with the pleasantries real fast because we just don't have time. Bruce Vaughn, here we go.
All right. So, news. Bruce Vaughn is returning to Walt Disney Imagineering as Chief Creative Officer effective March 20th. He left the company in 2016. Vaughn will co-lead the organization along with WDI President Barbara Boza. This is fascinating. He left quite a while now, 2016. It's been a little while. Kind of suspicious, in my opinion, that he is returning. It seems like maybe Bob Iger came in and he's like, hey, maybe some of the stuff isn't working. We need some fresh eyes, maybe a veteran to come in and sort of right the ship. That's kind of how I take this. I don't know. How are you interpreting this, Dre?
Well, I mean, I had speculated with you, OG, about the prospect of bringing some long-timers back, bringing some people who, could maybe entice others to come back to Imagineering. I mean, we know that with Chapek era moves, especially the one actually announced by D'Amaro himself, that the BDI was actually switching locations from Glendale to Lake Nona, that there was a lot of attrition at that level. That we had heard that WDI had been gutted, and that as many as 90% had actually left the organization as a result. And now that you have this kind of old-timer coming back on, now, obviously, he's not the most beloved person from Imagineering. However, it does bring a certain level of, what would you say? Returning of the guard, so to speak, OG? Is that a good characterization?
Great way to put it. Return of some seniority, right? Yeah. A lot of the Imagineers right now are kind of a little green, right? Pretty young. He kind of brings, like you said, a returning of the old guard, at least a little bit. And this is good because you've talked a lot, Dre, about that institutional memory and how important that is for Imagineering and how they might have lost a lot of that with this Lake Nona move. So it's actually really good news to see kind of an old timer come in and sort of provide a little bit of that once again.
I do agree, and this just comes in from the Hollywood Reporter. Let me see if I can get it here. Bruce Vaughn returns to Disney as co-lead of Imagineering Division. It goes on to say right here, the longtime executive previously worked at Disney for more than 2 decades and co-led Walt Disney Imagineering for 9 years as chief creative executive. He left the company in 2016 to become CEO and COO of Dreamscape Immersive, a company that creates location-based virtual reality experiences. He joined Airbnb in 2021 as vice president of experiential creative product, where he led a team responsible for designing immersive offerings for Airbnb stays and experiences. Quote, I've remained an Imagineer at heart, so I'm thrilled to join Barbara and reunite with this phenomenal global team of creators and innovators during this pivotal time, Vaughn said. Pivotal time? Interesting. With so many exciting projects underway and tremendous opportunities ahead of us, I look forward to partnering with Bruce to fuel creativity and deliver next-level experiences, Boza said. So, this is quite something here. It goes on to say that looks like D'Amaro had a memo about Vaughn's return. You can read that here, but I think this is significant. It's significant for the reasons that you bring up, OG, and I think it's significant to kind of usher in a kind of new direction or new course correction for WDI, which we did hear that March might be that month that we start seeing some, some shakeups in this division at Disney.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it kind of says a lot about Barbara Boza's standing within Imagineering. Now she's, up until now, she was the sole person kind of running Imagineering, right?
Yes.
Now she's got Bruce Vaughn as a co-lead, right?
Yes.
That kind of minimizes her role a little bit, in my opinion.
A little bit.
I'm curious if that means something's afoot for her. Maybe she's kind of they're sort of sunsetting her kind of time at Imagineering, and Bruce is going to be ultimately the one who solely runs it. Maybe not. It just seems kind of weird that look. I mean, when you're the president of Imagineering, right, for all these years, and all of a sudden they bring someone else in to be the co-president, it seems like a little bit of a demotion without being a demotion, if that makes sense.
Oh yes. I mean, it's a little bit of like I said, of course, correcting. It's a little bit of
like you need help. So here's this guy. Yeah.
Which I mean, we've seen Iger kind of. Let's say we've talked about him being a legacy guy, OG, and about how it's like, hey, if it worked there, it's gonna work here, and how he's incorporating some of that old school thought into this kind of new era for the company. A couple of things I want to point out here before we take it off the screen. The division made changes to its pricing and parking policies at its theme parks earlier this year, offering more days of its lowest price pass and offering more parking flexibility to consumers after a push from former CEO Bob Chapek to drive up profits. Why would they include that in an article like this? These things are commissioned with the cooperation of Disney. It's interesting how they would actually highlight that. And it kind of says something about how they're trying to make a statement about the old way of doing things and how Disney is, let's say, course correcting in ways such as the perception of value to readers of this article.
Well, yeah, and the course correction and an abandonment of the Chapek era is key here because look, we've been talking a lot lately about the Star Cruiser, right? And how they're only doing two cruises a week now or something like that.
Right.
It sort of symbolizes, in my opinion, like they're kind of letting the Star Cruiser die on the vine. They're slowly phasing it out. I wouldn't be surprised if they completely shut that whole thing down. It's really looking like they've kind of given up on it. It's a relic of the Chapek era. From what we're hearing, it was Bob Chapek's baby. We're seeing this article talking about kind of a departure from that Chapek era. I'm telling you, things are changing big time over at Disney Imagineering, and it's a very interesting new day here for WDI.
It is, and to transition into that new day, new dawn, maybe a new Pandora. It says here in the article, in a memo to Disney staff about Vaughn's return, D'Amaro highlighted CEO Bob Iger's emphasis on creativity, as well as the opportunity for Vaughn and Boza to work together on, quote, significant developments underway and more on the horizon. In Disney Parks Experiences and Products, this is D'Amaro speaking, continue to invest in new endeavors that deliver the most compelling experiences, immersing our guests around the world in the stories they love most. Well, what are one of those stories that they love most? Well, it comes to us here from D23 directly, by the way. This is not this is something that the company itself is putting in. I want to make that clear here. This is today, okay? News of the all-new Avatar experience coming to Disneyland Resort has reached Pandora itself, with enthusiastic reactions coming from Took, Spider, and Saria, I believe, or at least from the cast members who portray these young Pandora dwellers in James Cameron's multiple Oscar nominee Avatar: The Way of Water. And it goes on to say here, let's go! Jack Champion, who portrays Spider, the human adopted son of Jake, Sam Worthington, and Neytiri, Zoe Saldana, told D23, quote, I'm excited, so excited for Avatar fans to experience the world of Pandora just like we did here at Disneyland, and then brackets resort. I love that. They make that multiple times there.
Well, and here's the interesting thing, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't the Animal Kingdom land called the Avatar World of Pandora, if I'm not mistaken?
Pandora, the World of Avatar. Pandora, the World of Avatar.
Okay, so this main actor from the film,
Yes.
is actually referring to this experience at Disneyland as the world of Avatar. I mean, the world of Pandora. I'm sorry, right?
Yes.
Very similar to the wording and the way that for the land in Animal Kingdom,
Yes.
right? Now, I know we shouldn't get into the semantics of the wording, but fans were really quick to sort of like latch on to that experience word. When Iger said
Oh, yes.
experience, it must mean something really cheap, right? Well,
Oh, yes.
now the actors are using wording very similar to that of the Animal Kingdom land. So what say you, fandom?
What say you? Most importantly, trust me, OG, we will bask in the glow in due time here, because we were on an island here. We were on a lone planet, all on our own when we were making the assertion that experience meant more than what some might have characterized it to be. Similarly excited was Trinity Joe Bliss, who said, "Oh my gosh, Avatar is coming to Disneyland Resort." She told D23, "The Valley of Morara is my favorite place to visit. Whenever I have a chance to go to Walt Disney World, I've always told my friends how amazing it would be to be there and how one day they have to experience it themselves. Now, with Avatar coming to Disneyland, I can take all my friends and we can experience the world of Avatar together. Woohoo!"
The world of
Okay.
Avatar, once again, that same language. And she's very much saying, we had a great time at Pandora and Animal Kingdom.
Exactly.
Now it's great to have it here. This is very similar to the wording that Bob Iger used in that earnings call when we said it many times on the channel. We've been saying it for weeks now. He talked about Pandora in Florida. He talked about Galaxy's Edge in the same breath of this new Avatar experience coming to Disneyland. Now you're seeing the stars of the movie using the same comparisons. I don't know how many more hints you need.
Oh, don't worry. We're not going to get hints here, OG. We're going to get confirmation, and I'll explain that shortly here.
Do it.
Trust me, okay? And the expectations keep getting set by this article, by the way. Remember, D23 is going to include what they want to include in order to tell the story that they want to tell, right? Bailey
Right.
Base says here, "I am over the moon about the Avatar expansion to Disneyland Resort." Expansion, right? As a huge Disney fan and fan of the Avatar ride at Walt Disney World, I am so excited for Avatar fans to be able to experience the world of Pandora at Disneyland. I cannot wait to see what the Avatar and Disney team creates. I already know it's going to be inspiring, jaw-dropping, and magical. Okay, these are all the things that they want to include in this article. Now, here is where it gets confirmed, basically, right? You can mail us the apologies right here. While details on the coming Avatar experience remain under wraps, okay, it promises to be as amazing as those found at the Walt Disney World Resort. Quote, "If you've had a chance to experience Pandora, the world of Avatar, at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park, you have a pretty good idea of what the Imagineers are capable of," said Disney CEO Robert A. Iger when he announced the plans on February 8th. So all those people, let's say, and I don't want to name names, but we have a lot of people in our space who were telling people everything other than a significant experience that could be found at Disneyland Resort as part of the world of Avatar, right? We heard meet and greet, we heard the Singapore experience, we heard, walk through all this kind of stuff. But I don't know about you, OG, but when I read as amazing as those found at Walt Disney World Resort, and I know what they brought there, sounds a little bit more significant. What say you, sir?
No, it's absolutely that. It's absolutely that. We are getting, you're correct, right? This is confirmation. We are getting some version of a Avatar land here at Disneyland. Some version of that is coming. This is absolute confirmation. They keep comparing these two things. Believe me, they're not doing that because it's a meet and greet or some cheap 3D movie in the Tomorrowland theater. This is a new land coming to Disneyland. And you know what? I am super excited, and I still stick by. I think that Motorboat, Autopia, and Submarine Lagoon is fresh for the picking, and I think that that's going to be the area that they put this land. I think they'll reroute the monorail, and they're going to put it right there. I could be wrong, but I'm still holding true to that. I think that's where they're eyeballing it.
Correct. I do believe that's where they're eyeballing it. Iger was very clear. I mean, look, Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park. He's very clear on where these things are in each respective resort and so forth. He doesn't say Disneyland Resort. He says Disneyland, specifically multiple times. Doesn't even add the resort on there. I know this. This article is adding resort on there, but frankly, I think the place where it makes the most sense is at this point at Disneyland, and specifically in that area to the north of Tomorrowland, precisely, OG. And I just want to go ahead and add a little bit more meat to this because remember, I think I was the one saying that if James Cameron's involved, I think George was echoing the sentiment as well. If James Cameron's involved, he doesn't take he doesn't take a light approach when it comes to anything that he does. Well, now we have confirmation that he himself is also part of this project. Cameron, director of the Avatar films and founder and CEO of Lightstorm Entertainment, added that the immersive parks experiences dovetail with the movie's themes. Quote, "The films are all about connection with the physical environment, with family," he said. James also said, "I was thrilled to talk with Bob Iger about additional opportunities for people to step into the wondrous world of Avatar." It's interesting. James Cameron, he himself, being involved in this project, also confirmed. That to me tells me this is going to be of significance and substance. This is not a light capital expenditure. This is something big.
This is huge. And we got news, I believe it was today, that about Way of Water coming to digital and Blu-ray,
Yes.
I think by the end of this month.
I have the announcement right here, actually. Right.
So we got that announcement.
3 hours of bonus footage, by the way. That is significant.
Jeez. Right. So March 28th, it's coming, and then you have that annual shareholder meeting in April.
Correct.
Okay. You got this article coming out today. It's very clear they are conditioning us and preparing us for a big announcement, probably happening at that annual shareholder meeting.
Correct. Interesting things too. One of the other things I bring up when it comes to this conversation is the fact that, well, Pandora was envisioned, or at least Avatar experiences in general were envisioned when Lightstorm and James Cameron teamed up originally with Disney back in 2011, right? When that announcement was actually first made. Well, this article actually goes on to detail that the Disneyland Resort announcement has been a long time coming, since Walt Disney Imagineers have been working to imagine more ways to bring Avatar stories and characters to life since 2017. Maybe not quite as far back there, but ever since the original incarnation of this Pandora experience opened at Walt Disney World, there have been conversations about how do we bring this to Disneyland. And look, Bob Iger's looking at their realm of hit franchises right now. You got Marvel there, which they are going to continue to invest in, but, it's not on the most solid footing that it ever has been, right? Star Wars, we know the problems there. But I just want to remind people that in the time that it took Star Wars to accumulate its sum at the box office, Avatar has, I believe, overtaken that with just 2 films, with 3 more in production. Okay? This is the route they are actually going. And John Landau, producer of the Avatar films and, the right-hand man for James Cameron, had this to say additionally. John Landau, partner and COO of Lightstorm Entertainment and producer of the Avatar films, says, quote, "Together with Disney's Imagineers and with future Avatar films already in production, we're excited about where we might be able to take future guests." So the team is back together again. It's interesting. We have Bruce Vaughn coming back in our earlier story, right? I've always said, hey, if you want to entice people to come back in a big, big way, the number one name you get right there is Joe Rohde. Joe Rohde adds a kind of it solidifies the fact that there is a course correction, that a new sheriff is in town, to quote a dear governor in Florida. Right?
No, exactly, and that's a great point. And you have mentioned it before too, Dre, where the best way to sort of attract some of these retired Imagineers, like the old guard, is to have maybe like a Rohde come back, right?
Right.
Maybe Vaughn has a similar effect coming back. Maybe this will entice a Joe Rohde or a Kevin Rafferty to come back out of retirement and go, okay, maybe I should rethink this and come back. This is very, very, very good news. And this is one thing I will say that Bob Iger excels at, which is the talent relationship.
Yes.
And this is something that Bob Chapek struggled with. Got him in a lot of trouble with ScarJo. We know that.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. And even the Imagineers, it got him in
Yes.
trouble with the Imagineers. It was very, with the whole Florida Lake Nona move. It's not so much the move, it was how it was handled. Bob Iger is much better at kind of luring people into the fold, keeping those relationships solid. So I wouldn't be surprised. We see Bruce coming back. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe Rohde comes back. Maybe we get some of these old school Imagineers to kind of come back, right? It's possible.
I can tell you right now, Iger, with cooperation from James Cameron, because it looks like he's on board, right? This article confirms that this is this is the fruition of an ongoing relationship here. Look, if you got Cameron on there and Iger, I can tell you both of them can be very persuasive when it comes to people that they want as part of big projects. Go into the history about I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio or even why can't I think of her name? The lead for Aliens and Alien.
Sigourney Weaver,
right? When what is it? James Cameron was doing pre-production or development for Aliens, right? Look up that story and see how he got people back into the fold for his feature films and so forth. They can be very persuasive. I'll just say that.
Right.
So what better way to get somebody back in and say, hey, we want you to lead this project. It's a multi-million-dollar project. It's, we've got Bruce Vaughn here. We've got new management here. We've got new teams here. We won't step on your toes. Can you provide us this? And honestly, to get Rohde back in, remember, he was working on some big stuff. We know Tomorrowland. We know the new island for the Disney Cruise Line. You want to have this guy in your back pocket. This would be a great way to do so.
No, 100%. And if a big name like Rohde returns after Bruce Vaughn returns, we know then a revolution is afoot at WDI.
Yes.
Big things are happening. And look, I want to also say real quick, because we're fair here on the channel, right?
Sure.
We can be tough. But at the same time, we'll give credit where it's due. This Pandora news, right? This big thing coming to Disneyland.
Yeah.
We've given Daddy Josh a lot of shit for not really doing anything, and rightfully so. This guy has been all style and almost no substance for pretty much the entire time he's been there. Let's be completely honest. Look, with this thing moving forward, which we pretty much have confirmed that it is,
and
I got to give credit to him. What's up? I'm sorry.
And with Bruce Vaughn coming back,
we got to give some credit to Daddy Josh. These are the kind of moves we want to see Josh making. Josh, if by any chance you are watching this, this is what we want to see. Big moves, bold moves, ambition, doing it right. Please, just more of this. And it's okay to have those smaller projects like the San Francisco's and what have you. But you gotta kind of offset that every now and then with some big moves too, This is the right way to do it. And also DCA needs some love. So really, really get that multiverse attraction looking,
I do agree. Let's provide some budget for these Imagineers for that project. Let's get the entire Disneyland Resort up to snuff, let's say, in time for the Olympics in 2028. But I want to go ahead. Look, we got to toot our own horns occasionally here, right? We were by ourselves when it came to this opinion. But we provided all the evidence as to, or the reasoning as to why this thing might be as significant as we thought, right? And I always want to go ahead and just reiterate to our audience here, the more accurate knowledge that you have, right, the better understanding of the world around you, the better you can actually predict. And this way, it actually worked. So, that's why, when I go off on my diatribes or when we talk about things that might seem benign or non-significant, this is why we bring some of those things up in order so that our predictions might be as accurate as possible.
Yeah. And it never added up, right? When you have Bob Iger coming out at this really important, his first shareholder meeting as returning as Disney CEO, the very first one. Right. He comes into that shareholder meeting and announces a Pandora experience coming to Disneyland. It's like common sense would tell you, okay, this is like not the venue or the situation to announce a minor thing. Look, If that was a Disney Parks blog post on a random Tuesday, okay, cool. That
Agreed.
totally could be nothing. I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that was even on the D23 stage,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you can make the case it's nothing. But from the CEO at a shareholder meeting, where the shareholder meeting is the first one he's having, that, you know, as the return of Disney CEO, everything was hinging on that shareholder meeting, and he's going to announce a meet and greet. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I know.
Come on, guy.
But,
you know,
but it's interesting because some key words, you know, and I've discussed this with you, OG, and how we don't necessarily use the T word. I say 45 because some people, they key in on words, and sometimes that you know, that can distract and take away from other things that are provided in that context. So people keyed in on experience. Oh, he said experience, didn't say expansion, didn't say this, didn't say that, you know, and they just wouldn't allow themselves to be open to all of the other additional contextual information that they were receiving. And they just keyed in on that. I understand it. Look, we've all been beaten down by. It's been a couple of years, right? I'm sorry, a tough couple of years.
Yeah.
And you know, we've seen things be budgeted down, and we've seen things not maybe live up to expectation. I get it. I understand. But there was information here. There was you know, there was connections that could have been that could be made, but nobody wanted to. And there are people that have much more experience in this field than we do. People who are much, you know, I don't know, better experts or bigger experts, or who have more connections than we do, who were saying very similar things. And we were just saying, I don't know if that's correct. But now we see more connections being made, right? We see in this article, what are they comparing it to? They're comparing it to Walt Disney World multiple times, right? We're seeing that, hey, I'm excited. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be thrilling, awe-inspiring, right? They're setting expectations. And now they're saying up front, promises to be as amazing as those found at Walt Disney World. That's significant.
Yeah, it is. And if it ends up being a meet and greet or something, this is absolute PR malpractice.
Yes, it is.
You know, I mean, and it's just, I know Disney has dropped the ball a few times in the past, to say the least. They're not that stupid.
No.
They're not that stupid. This is happening, guys. This is happening. We're getting some version of Pandora. It's probably going to be a different version too, to be quite honest with you.
Oh, yes.
I can see James Cameron. Look, we have a smaller footprint out here at Disneyland, a lot more restrictions as to what we can build.
Sure.
I think Cameron's going to go with something completely different, maybe Way of Water themed, right?
Yeah.
More aquatic, maybe even themed to the next movie, which I heard is going to introduce Fire Navi or something.
Yeah.
Our good friend Universal Core was talking that, you know, the third movie should be the Volcano Navi. I think he was saying it.
Oh,
you know,
that'd be so cool.
Oh, it'd be dope, right? But I could see maybe Cameron wanting to go in that direction, maybe tie it to like the third movie to coincide with the opening of the new land, you know, have it pushed out a little further, maybe have that kind of thing. I mean, I was telling you guys in the DMs, wouldn't it be great if it was that Volcano Navi and we had like a little mini version of the volcano from Disney Sea in the middle of Disneyland?
Oh.
I mean, come on, you know, how epic would that be? And we're just spitballing here, but the potential here is endless. And you have Cameron on board, and now we got some pretty solid leadership at WDI. So good things are happening. Now, Dre, I do want to ask you one thing too, to kind of pivot well, it's same topic, but different attraction.
Sure.
Now that we got Bruce Vaughn in there, right? It might be too late for Disney World's version of Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Oh, okay.
I think the ship might have sailed a little bit on that one, because that one, it's already, you know, shoveled of dirt on that one, right?
Sure.
But Disneyland's version, they haven't even shut down our ride yet.
Haven't even announced a date. That's key.
Right. Haven't even announced a date yet. Now we have a new sheriff in town. Mm-hmm. Do you think this bodes well for our version, that maybe Bruce Vaughn coming in there with veteran eyes is sort of going to go in there and go, okay, this works. Okay, that doesn't. And we get a better version of what maybe we were going to get. Is that a possibility with this?
It's as likely as a possibility as it's ever been in the kind of Iger era, let's say, right? I'm not saying that it's likely or even probable. I'm just saying it's the most likely chance we've ever had of some type of kind of course correction on that front. Just be like, maybe we don't go forward with this, or maybe we don't go forward with this in the way we were going to in Disneyland, because I keep hearing not good things from the current direction of these two attractions and what's happening at Walt Disney World and so forth. I think there is a little bit of cold feet on some major players. It's interesting. If you look at the refurbishment calendar, we know that Indiana Jones is one of the big reasons why Splash Mountain hasn't yet been announced or hasn't yet closed. Well, now, April 3rd to the 13th, I believe, you have Big Thunder closing. So the soonest this even can close is in kind of late April. So that tells me, they're stretching this out. And it's interesting to theorize why they might be doing such things. So I don't know. We'll see. It may be too late, but hopefully common sense or rationalization prevails here. We'll just have to wait and see. When it comes to Avatar, I wanted to just say real fast about the prospect of new films being incorporated into this kind of new experience, whatever it happens to be. Cameron has been bullish on that, actually. They wanted to expand Avatar at Walt Disney World as soon as it opened because it was so successful, and they were getting so much attendance, especially for Flight of Passage. 3-hour lines. We know the whole story. But it was Cameron himself who said, well, wait a minute, let's hold off on any expansions until my newer films come out. That way we have more to choose from. Right. And so I could almost assuredly say whatever they bring to Disneyland, expect it to be as amazing, but different.
Yep, 100%, dude. A fantastic conversation. These impromptu things are sometimes always like the most fun, right? We got breaking news, we're pumped, we're ready to report on it. Really great stuff with the Pandora, with Bruce Vaughn. Exciting. Look, as Disney Park fans, Dre mentioned it, we've been beaten down the last few years. It's refreshing as hell to get some good news, right? Am I right?
It really is, man. I'm pumped now. I'm excited. And haven't been that way for the future of the theme park division for quite some time. So yeah, I'm pumped. I told OG, we got to do a video on this. We just have to, man. It's just too good. And I'm glad we did. I concur with your sentiments, sir.
Absolutely. And tonight we are doing a Universal review video we have a huge panel, but check it out. We're going to be premiering that tonight as well. It's going to be a lot of fun talking all about Universal. We're going to close out this episode, though, and before I do, I want to go ahead and take it over to my good friend and collaborator, producer, Vash Sky. If you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
No problem. The best place to find me is going to be at Vash Sky on Twitter. It's right down there. Just go ahead, type that in, and it should pop up for, as Christine Waysons McCarthy would say, for all the
robust
discussion right there. OG, you got that drop for me with Walt?
Oh, I absolutely do. Take it away, Walt.
And there's the biggest bargain of all.
Biggest bargain of all, indeed. And I do believe that Walt, even during his time, was talking about OG55, the biggest bargain for sure, where we have some amazing shows, both that regularly are featured on OG55 and ones that are coming up, including some from my own, Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info, squeezed fresh, right from the Grove. OG, it's nice to be proven right every once in a while.
Yes, it is. And you know who's gonna love this? Who's gonna love this when they finally get it up and running? This new Pandora is our buddy Drunk 3PO, who's a huge Avatar fan. I have a feeling he's gonna be making another trip to California when that opens.
That's right, Drunk. Hey, drinks are on me, and we'll go ride whatever this experience is at Pandora at Disneyland as soon as it come out.
Absolutely. Thank you all for watching. Comment down below with your thoughts on Bruce Vaughn, Pandora coming to Disneyland. Thank you so much for all the support for the channel the past 6+ years. We appreciate everybody who's liked, shared, viewed our videos. Thank you. And as always, have a wonderful day.